2 people were transported to a hospital. 1 did not survive. And he also says that people in 15 units walked out on their own. But really, I think the big thing to take away from this news conference that just took place is the fact that the search of the units that were not affected is now done and cleared. But the search of the units that were damaged, that search is just getting started.
And Alex, our Elita Bizios was there during that news conference questioning the mayor. She's live with what we gathered at this point. Elita.
Well, you know, Ethan and Alex, really, Alex, what you just said, it's the part of the building that's there, that has been cleared, and those people we have heard are okay. It's the part of the collapsed building, which is a large section, if not most of the building, that is still underway. I have a source who has said that they initially had brought in canines to look for people who were alive. Those dogs have been taken out, and they have brought in cadaver dogs. Those dogs look for the people who did not make it, sadly. If we can go to video to show you the extensive damage that we have been showing you all morning, all of this happening. Just before 2 in the morning, a witness who was here parking her car not far explains it and describes it and says she heard a boom and then just saw an immense amount of smoke. All of this happening at 8777 Collins Avenue. That is Champlain Towers South condo. We can tell you that there is an immense presence of fire rescue, emergency rescue crews here. The mayor just now during this news are really pointing out and saying, you know what? These first responders are working so hard, and they are complete heroes, running into this building, running towards this debris, not knowing if it is going to fall down on them. A source of mine has also told me in the last hour or so about 5 people have been pulled out and rescued. As far as how many people are missing, that is unclear. The mayor would only say, and only at this point knows, because obviously all of this is developing and happening now. He said that the building was substantially full. It is unclear how many are missing, but there are at least 100 units in this building. Again, so now at this point, it is an active search going forward to see who they can find and hopefully find people alive. The mayor, you know, saying he has never seen anything like this, and you know, just his heart goes out to these families. His message to those families looking for their loved ones is to call the city's general number, talk to them. You can go to the community center at 93rd and Collins. What we are told by the mayor is that at this point, what he knows is that at least 2 were taken to the hospital, and sadly 1 person did die at the hospital. He told us that 15 family units were cleared out, and at least 40 to 60 people inside of those. We have also learned, he tells us, that roof work was being done at the time. He is unsure of if that is related to this building collapse, and obviously something they are going to be looking into and investigating. But now, happening now at 8777 Collins Avenue at Champlain Towers South condo, the northeast corner collapsing early this morning, and now it is a search and rescue mission. For now, we are in Surfside. We will remain here, and we will bring you the latest information. Back to you.
And so the rescuing still continues this morning, and we wonder, will there be rain? Because that does play a factor in that mission.
It absolutely could. It could impact the search and rescue efforts going on right now. Meteorologist Vivian Gonzalez in the Plix with what we can expect. Hey, Viv, good morning.
Good morning. And we've been noticing over the last couple of hours showers and storms brewing very close to Dade and Broward. And as far as rain is concerned, the good news is that some rain has split off to the north, impacting Broward and other areas to the south. So we still don't have rain over that area, but there's plenty of it sitting to the east that will continue to follow. We do have heavy rain setting up shop. There's also lightning nearing Miami Beach and Key Biscayne, but right where rescue efforts are happening, you have this gap and there's no rain. So this batch over here is about 8 miles to the east, and then to the north, North Miami Beach and Hollandale Beach getting soaked at this hour. So at least I'm happy to report that there's no rain in the area, but we're monitoring activity sitting to the east. And around Biscayne Bay, lightning flaring up here, tons of markers being spotted, heavy rain already pushing onshore between Cutler Bay and areas of Homestead. Broward County, if your commute takes you around these locations, the rain is actually growing more on the widespread side, anywhere between Deerfield Beach, Pompano, moving into Tamarack West, Coral Springs, Parkland getting soaked along the Sawgrass Expressway. And if it takes you through Weston, heavy rain there between I-75 US 27 and around sections of Dana Beach starting to see some rain. Now here's a look at wind speed so you could tell the movement of these showers and storms that we will be seeing from time to time throughout today. And they're out of the east, anywhere between 3 to 15 miles per hour. So we're going to see this batch of heavy rain sitting off the coast moving from east to west, and if it does hold, pushing onshore in the next hour or so. But we are keeping our fingers crossed that hopefully some of that starts to fizzle. Temperatures right now are in the 80s. It's 82 in Fort Lauderdale.
Fire rescue recovering and rescuing this young boy from the rubble. This is just one of the survivors from this partial building collapse. A scary night, a scary morning. People waking up this morning not sure if their loved ones are okay at this point.
Yeah, a large section of that building collapsed into a pile of rubble. You've been seeing that live shot, those aerial views all morning long. It's in the back of the building that faces the beach. That's the portion that fell. That call came out at 1:23 this morning. The balconies just sheared in half. This video, we've been playing it throughout the morning. We haven't seen, unfortunately, a lot of rescues happening throughout the morning. We heard from the mayor of Surfside that they had cadaver dogs out there. They've had canines searching for survivors. They really haven't had many hits. This is fantastic video. Great news there that that little boy was able to get out. But then you wonder, what about his family? What happened to his loved ones as well? And that is the question many residents, many people here in South Florida have about this unfortunate, devastating partial collapse of this building on 88th and Collins.
And you mentioned the mayor of Surfside. We did hear from him from just a short time ago, and this is the very latest information that he said. He says that at least 10 people were treated there at the scene. Most likely that young boy may be one of those 10. It's not clear at this point. He also mentioned that there were 2 people who were transported to the hospital. Sadly, one of those people did not survive. The mayor of Surfside also said that people in 15 different units walked out on their own. And the real headline at this moment, the thing you need to know at this moment is the following. The search of the units that were not affected in this condo building, that search is now done. Now the search continues, though, for those units that were affected. The rubble you see there on the ground, that's where the focus is on at this hour at 8:02 this morning. They're focusing, trying to see if there are any survivors under that rubble at this point.
All right, we want to head out to Elisa Bezios. She is live at the scene. Elisa.
Yeah, and this is the, really tragic and difficult part, is looking for those who are potentially buried under the rubble. The mayor of Surfside saying, yes, he believes that there are several under there. A police officer we spoke with when we first got here believes that several have likely died from this. The mayor confirming one person was killed from this after being taken to the hospital. We know a total, via the mayor, a total of 2 were taken to the hospital, and you can see the damage from above here. It's unclear of how many people are actually missing at this point. The mayor telling us that there are at least 100 units that were a part of this building. At this point, it is an active search that is happening. Fire rescue, emergency response crews looking under that rubble to see who they can find. As far as what caused all of this, that is obviously going to be is under investigation. The only thing the mayor would confirm to us is that there was roof work being done at the time. When he spoke not too long ago, the mayor also pointing out at how brave really these rescue crews have been, going in and out of this building, doing the best that they can to save whoever they can. The mayor also spoke with us live on air in the 7:30 hour, and here's what he had to say at that point. Okay, we will get that sound for you later on, but here is the view from above again. What we can tell you is that likely several are trapped. The mayor of Surfside saying 10 were treated on site, at least 2 taken to the hospital, 1 sadly passing away, dying at the hospital. He tells us that 15 family units were evacuated, at least 40 to 60 people displaced from that. The Red Cross helping get those people to a safe space. All of this happening at 8777 Collins Avenue at Champlain Towers South condo. The collapse happening on really the northeast corner of the building. A source of mine telling us while they had brought in canine dogs to begin with to find the people who were alive, at this point they have now also brought in the cadaver dog, sadly, to see if there was anyone buried under the rubble. There is an immense presence of first responders, authorities all here working to save and really piece all of this together. We will remain here and bring you the latest information. For now, we are live in Surfside. Elitza Bezios today in Florida.
All right, Elitza, thank you for that update. And our team coverage now continues this morning.
7's Katrina Bush is live near the collapse as well. Katrina.
I was able to check in with one of the firefighters that was brought in from one of the fire rescue departments from around South Florida to help with this effort. He says this is the beginning of a days-long search of the part of the building that collapsed and trying to find more people there. Now, we want to show you here that so many people who live nearby are coming over. They just cannot believe their eyes. They cannot believe this has happened right here in their neighborhood. Now, we want to take you to some new video this morning of search dogs searching the rubble. So we watched overnight that rescue effort with crews going through in small teams, seeing how many people they can get to and get out. So again, at this point, the K9 units have joined this effort to find more people still stuck inside a partial building collapse. Now, this is what crews are hoping to see more of, successful rescues like this. Take a look at this incredible rescue from earlier this morning. We watched as fire rescue crews found and pulled a boy up from the rubble. One of the first responders able to lift him up and put him over his shoulder as they just carefully were able to get him from out of the rubble and then down to a stretcher where they made sure he was secure on that stretcher to be able to get him down to the street and get him checked out. It's not clear what his injuries are this morning. And we also heard from a Good Samaritan who says he was there helping that crew get the boy out.
I came running here and trying to see what's going on. And when I saw the building, I just couldn't believe myself. It's like I'm just hoping that I'm dreaming and somebody like, or the alarm like sounds and I'm like, okay, it's a dream. It's a bad dream. We have no clue right now. Like we're just waiting as everybody else, and there's a lot of people affected. And you should see the tension over there, like the direct family. For me, they are friends, but they are like family for me.
Okay, so that was Nicholas Fernandez you just heard from. He came over as soon as he heard what happened. He says he got that call in the middle of the night from his mother. He didn't take her seriously at first, but when she called him and let him know what was happening, that they had some close family friends who live in that part of the building. They're on the 8th floor, and he rushed over and again just could not believe what he was seeing and hearing about what happened here overnight. So he says they have just been calling as much as they can to see if they can get their family friends, to see if they can get an answer on their cell phones. This is a couple and their daughter who live there on the 8th floor. He's saying if they don't get an answer, they're hoping the ringing of the cell phone can kind of help direct first responders to their family friends. I do believe we do have the person who was helping with the boy who was rescued, that video you saw before. Here's what he had to say. Okay, we'll get that for you. But yes, there are so many people with stories just like Nicholas Fernandez, the man you just heard from. So we are talking to folks, and they are just waiting to hear word from officials about their loved ones. That's the latest live in Surfside. Katrina Bush, today in Florida.
All right, and that feeling, Katrina, that witness was describing, that he feels like it's a dream. You know, and it makes sense because it happened in the middle of the night. This all happened at around 1:30 this morning. It was dark. You know, you can't help but imagine what those people were feeling in that building when they heard what they heard, and then they walk outside and saw what they saw. I'm sure a lot of people are waking up this morning wishing that this was a nightmare, but these are actually live pictures of what is going on right now in Surfside. 7's Ralph Rayburn is up above to show us what it looks like from there. And Ralph, earlier this morning, you really got a close-up look at the rubble of the debris. I think you said something about even bunk beds that you saw at one point. It's heartbreaking.
Oh, it's a tragic situation out here, and it's just unfolding. It's just the beginnings of this, because they've got a massive search that still involves, as you guys have mentioned, the debris field that came down from the structure that pancaked here on the east side of this condominium. We are now, I just want to give you the big picture here. With our extended lens, we are some 3 miles away from the scene here, and that's with one of the stronger lenses that we have inserted at this point right now to show you how far away we are, just to comply with the request for noise abatement in the area while search dogs, urban search dogs, and their team handlers search this debris pile. And what you're looking at right there is on the east side of the building. That's the debris that came down where the officer there is standing, the firefighter search and rescue guy. He's giving some directions there. We saw and heard them request shoring material. That would be material that you would use to support a collapsed structure, some area of a collapsed structure. And they sent a crew in about 30 minutes ago to that parking garage that we were showing you. There was an area, a section probably about 30 by 60 that came down. It appears to be the second floor of the parking garage on the east side of the building that was part of this collapse. It was not directly related to the collapse on the north side of the building, but it did come down. We see rebar and all kinds of concrete structure material down there, along with cars that appear to have been tossed around as they came down. They earlier had heard some noises and some sounds and pleas for help from that area of the parking garage. Now, that's not known whether it's the parking garage structure itself or whether there was a collapse inside the building that also came down. As you look straight there, you can see right now one of those canine dogs there searching through the top of the debris field right now, looking for survivors and looking for that search and rescue, search and recovery aspect of this. There are two different tactical channels that are being used by the fire departments here. One is the major command for getting assets in and out, and including everything from taking care of the firefighters and feeding the firefighters, and also the logistics for getting fuel for the trucks that have now been on scene for 6 hours or 7 hours that have been running and are going to need fuel supplies to keep them operational. And then also the search and recovery aspect of it and special ops. And these are the people that come in now and do the heavy lifting here to start to remove the debris from this area, and as they continue to do the searching portion of this event. Now, we want to point out too that this building was built back in 1981, so it's a 40-year-old structure that's on the beach and subject to the salt air and to the heat of South Florida living. So obviously there are other structural aspects of it that they're going to be looking into when they look at what exactly happened here. It's going to take obviously some time. They're in for the long haul. We want to bring the camera back out here, show you the side wall there, or what we can see of the side wall right there. That's facing east. It came down at about 1:23 this morning. Fire rescue units from Miami Beach and Miami-Dade responded out here. Many units on the scene, and the roadways in the area around 87th and Collins and 87th and Harding remain closed. That's our story here in Skyforce HD. I'm Ralph Rabe reporting live.
Ralph, we want to head over back to Elitza Bezios. She is speaking with a witness.
And we got in there, and dust everywhere, smoke everywhere, and water pouring down from the pipes which had broken in the garage. And I'd say the water was up to about my shins. And I said to my wife, we got to get out of here. We can drown here. Let's go back up to the apartment. And thankfully, we were able to get back up the stairs to our apartment, get into our apartment, and put, like the saying is, what are the things you take with you when you have to get out of a building? You take your underwear, you take clothes, you don't take anything else. You get what you can get. And so we got up there and we ran out onto the balcony, and we were saved by the Miami-Dade fire.
So all your stuff is still in there now?
Yes.
Are you concerned about that?
Can you give us your name?
Yeah, Barry Cohen, Barry-Cohen.
Barry, good morning to you.
How old are you, Barry?
I am 63 years old.
All right, congratulations, way to go.
Thank you.
Were you inside the building? Or
Yes.
Can you elaborate for us? What happened? What'd you hear? What'd you see?
I was sleeping in a deep sleep, and I heard a huge crash, which I thought was a crash of lightning, but it continued for, I'd say, 15-20 minutes. My wife and I went out on the balcony to see what was going on. By that time, a Surfside police officer was already out there, and we yelled out to him, "What's going on?" He said, "Go back inside, we don't know." And we went back inside, and we went to leave the apartment, and I opened up the door which goes into the hallway, and there was a huge pile of just rubble. The whole area, the north wing of the building had collapsed.
Barry, could you see the outside from the inside?
Yes.
Yeah. And what were you thinking at that point?
Well, the first thing I thought of was it reminded me of my warehouse that was burnt down in the McDuffie riots. And
So you've been here a couple of years, Barry.
Yeah, I've been here a while.
Right.
I'm a Miami native.
Sure.
Miami Beach native. And that's what it looked like.
Yep.
But I was looking down on it. There it was, I was looking up at it. And I said to myself that we got to get out of this building.
And you and your wife at that point decided to head down, right?
Well, we had already gone down and come back up.
Right.
Because there was water down there. So we came back up, and when we got back up, we went out onto the balcony and tried to call for help from the fire department. I identified them. I am a former vice mayor of the town, so I identified myself to the policemen to let them know that, come and get me.
Right.
And they said, hold still. They got to set up the fire truck.
Sure.
And
Barry, did you come down conventionally, or did you go down a fire ladder?
We went into a cherry picker. What I did was I placed a lounge chair flat and myself, my wife, and 3 other people. I believe it's 3, maybe it might have been 4. Everything's kind of moving quickly, and we jumped up on the lounge and climbed into the cherry picker, and that fire department guy was just so amazingly adept at moving this thing to get it so that we could be able to get into the cherry picker.
And what floor were you on, sir?
3rd floor.
And so there are 4 of you in the cherry picker, and then you start to get lowered down. Is that right?
Well, I think he backed away first and then lowered us down.
Boy. You ever been in a situation like a cherry picker coming down? I mean, anything like that you can compare this to in your life? No. Sounds like you're
no. Never had that happen.
Baron, might you know somebody who has some difficulty here, who may have lived? This was toward the back, the east back of the building, correct? No neighbors or folks who are.
Yeah.
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 Have you heard from them this morning? Might you know some folks?
Haven't heard from anybody yet. I've heard that my park coach from Flamingo Park when I was a little kid, that Coach Notkin was he had been seen by other people, but I haven't heard.
Is that Jim Notkin? Barry Notkin.
No,
I think he was my coach too. Barry, I want to thank you for talking with me. I wish you the best of
Let
luck.
me just ask you the first moments. You were sleeping. Were you sleeping at the time?
Yes.
And tell me just those first moments.
Yeah.
Let me just finish up, okay?
Yep.
So, what are you going to do now that you can't go back in? All your stuff's there. Where are you going to stay?
Well, I don't know yet. I don't have an answer to that. I've already gotten my paralegal working on getting me a rent-a-car so that I can get around. And I had a full day of my practice that I was going to be in today, and now I guess I've got to cancel a bunch of meetings and things like that. I've got to cancel my golf lesson.
Family to stay with, or is the Red Cross going to help you?
I have a son who has a house, but I think we'll find ourselves a. I think so. I've heard that they're trying to get us accommodations.
What's your theory or suspicion about why this happened?
Well, I have a background from the Planning and Zoning Board in Surfside, and when we moved into this building, into our building, they were starting the work on that very, very large building. And that work went on for many years. And this building, our building, the Champlain South, is like built in the early 1980s. And when they were doing the construction on the 87 Park over here, I was concerned when we moved into the building, and I went to the condo manager and said to him that, you know, what are they doing to make sure that they're protecting our building so that we're not all the rumbling and all the construction. It was already cracking the pavers on the pool deck. And I said, you guys should do something about that, but I don't know whatever happened from them. And I didn't really think about it because it's this beautiful building here, and you know, where we live on a gorgeous beach, and you know, beautiful place. And you know, I don't know. I don't know the cause of everything, but we're, you know, I'm sure we'll find out.
Now, when was this building built?
It was finished, I think, in like 2020, I think.
Do you think that had something to do with your building collapsing?
Well, I mean, our building's built in the 80s. This building, to build a building like that, there's no room between the two. So, you know, I'm not a causation expert, but I have been practicing law for almost 40 years. Yeah. And it's kind of like a no-brainer that if you build something that close to this old building and you don't take precautions to, you know, and I'm sure they did whatever they could do, but you know, it's going to come out in the science of it, I guess.
Do you think that the roof renovation, the roof work that was happening, had something to do with it as well?
I'm sure that that's part of this perfect storm, because they were doing a new roof, and I think that, I mean, all day long, the building was pounding and pounding and pounding, and they've been doing it for over a month, I think. They've been working on the roof, and you know, it's you know, it's like.
Sir, I hate to ask you the same, Barry. Can you just describe that moment when you woke up and you heard this? What did it sound like?
At first, it sounded like a crash of lightning or thunder, but then it just kept on steadily for at least 15 to 30 seconds. Just kept on going and going and going.
What went through your mind at that point?
Well, I thought, I called out to my wife. I said, "What's going on? Do you hear this?" And I had no idea what this loud noise was. And then we went out on the balcony and we saw that there was a police car there. And we said, "What's going on?" He said, "Go back inside. We don't know what's going on." And so we went back inside and we opened the door that would lead to the hallway outside of our door. And we opened the door, and it was like a pile of rubble and dust and smoke billowing around, and I couldn't walk out past my doorway, you know, the hallway. So we went, gaping hole, rubble, and we went down the stairs to see if we could get out by the pool area, but we got there and the door wouldn't open. So we went down lower to the basement and found out there that the water was rising up, and we didn't want to drown down there, so we went back upstairs, and then the fire department took us off in a cherry picker.
Tell me those moments when you saw the firemen coming.
I was quite, I'd say it was pretty frantic. And I was screaming to them, "Get us out of here." And I tried to identify myself to the Surfside police because I was a former vice mayor in Surfside, so they would know me and maybe pay attention. And they just said, "Wait there, wait on the balcony. We've got to set it up." And it took them about 20 minutes to get it all set up, that we were able to then be rescued by one of the fine Metro-Dade Fire Department people.
Thank God for them, huh?
Absolutely.
Thank God. What message do you have to all these rescue crews out here today?
I thank them. They have such a hard job. It's amazing what they do. And the message that I have is that I'm always happy to be alive, but I'm even happier to be alive today.
And you have friends that are missing in this building?
Acquaintances. Fortunately, there are people that I understand are missing, and it's really a tough situation.
And your name, sir?
Barry Cohen.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you. All righty. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you. Thank you for...
All right, and you were just hearing from Barry, this man right here. He really painted the picture of what he and so many went through this morning. Heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. So many people in that building. We know that it's the Champlain Tower at 88th and Collins. So many people sleeping there overnight because this happened at 1:30 in the morning, waking up to what they were hoping was a nightmare, and it obviously was not. We know that at least one person has passed away after this partial building collapse.
Yeah, and Barry describing what he heard. He was woken up. He was in deep sleep around 1:30 this morning, as you mentioned. He called for his wife. Are you hearing that? He said it sounded like thunder, lightning, and it was actually the building collapsing around him. Again, this is on 88th and Collins Avenue, a partial collapse of that tower. The mayor of Surfside has confirmed for us this morning that one person did pass away. A number of people have been rescued as well. Elitza Bezios confirming with her source at the scene. She's seen about 5 different people rescued. Obviously, this building has 130 units. So we are hoping for more good news. We do want to head out to Rafael Pires. He picks up our team coverage from the community center there. Rafael.
Yeah, so the community center, this is one of the areas or one of the locations where a lot of the people from that building were actually bused to. So if you take a look back here, you can see there are currently dozens of people here right now, a lot of them from that building, some of them residents from that building who are either evacuated or were able to make it out safely or rescued by Miami-Dade Fire Rescue and many of the other crews who are there right now. So this location right now, which is here on the 93rd Street and Collins intersection, this is one of the family reunification centers. This is one of the locations where if you know somebody who lives in the building that collapsed, if you have family members or someone who you're maybe concerned about, this is where you are being asked to come meet up with them, where you are being asked to come potentially locate them. There is a number as well that you are being asked to call if you have a family member or either if that person is unaccounted for or if you know where they are. They do want to take a head count. They want to know exactly who they're still looking for, who they know is out safe and made it out okay. That number that they want you to call is 305-614-1819. Once again, that number is 305-614-1819. That is the number that you are being asked to call. Once again, whether you have family members who are not accounted for, and if you already have accounted for your family, again, they just want to take a head count. And if you look out here, there's still dozens of people. They're pretty much just trying to figure out what their next steps are. We spoke to one man who says that he had to be rescued by Miami-Dade Fire Rescue from his condo. He says he does have family members that he's going to be staying with. So some people who have that option, clearly they're going to be having to take them up on that here today because of this horrible tragedy. But the Red Cross is here as well. We heard the mayor talking about that. For anyone who doesn't have another place to stay tonight, they are going to be helping them find some temporary housing. So clearly still a lot of work here for all of the rescue crews, for the Red Cross, first responders here who are trying to help the people who are affected by this terrible tragedy this morning. Of course, we're going to stay here. We're going to get more information. We're going to try to talk to people to learn about how they're being impacted this morning. As soon as we have any more information, we'll be sure to pass that along to you. For now, reporting live from Surfside, Rafael Pires, 7 News.
All right, and a lot of people in the area right now are not only affected because of what's going on, traffic is also affected this morning. We know that Collins Avenue right now is affected between 98th Street and 85th Street. So obviously this is not an area you want to go to at the moment. As you saw Rafael Pires, he is at the community center where a lot of those survivors and a lot of family members hoping their loved one is okay. That's where they're at this morning. Now, FPNL also releasing a statement because a lot of people in that area are also affected because there's no electricity for obvious reasons. They released a statement earlier this morning, and this is what it says. We are aware of the serious incident in our service area in Surfside. We extend our thoughts and prayers to those affected. We are working with Miami-Dade Fire Rescue and have de-energized our equipment in the area for their safety and the safety of our customers and crews. Service is affected to more than 400 customers in the vicinity of the building that partially collapsed. We currently do not have an expected time of when power will be restored. Our crews are working with fire marshals in the affected area and will restore service as quickly as possible once it is safe to do so. They finished this statement with, "We know how important electricity is to our customers, and we appreciate their patience and understanding." This is for anyone who is watching this right now in the Surfside area. They are working on the electricity there in the area, so just hang in there, and we'll keep you posted on any developments from them. We're also hearing from different officials in our area here in South Florida. For example, here on your screen, it's a tweet from Miami-Dade Mayor Daniela Levine Cava. She tweeted out this morning saying, "My prayers are with all those impacted by this horrific tragedy and with their families. We are so grateful to Miami-Dade Fire and all the best first responders on the scene. May they stay safe while working to save lives." We know that multiple agencies have responded to the situation. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, of course, leading this at the moment. We're actually waiting to hear from Miami-Dade officials. They will be holding a news conference at around 9:15, weather permitting. And the weather, that's something we need to talk about because there is a storm, as you can see, right over this scene.
Yeah, to add insult to injury, the weather creeping in. Viv, let's talk about that and how it's really going to hamper those rescue efforts.
Yes, and the rain has been ramping up in the last couple of hours off the coast. We have rain bypassing the area where the ongoing rescue efforts are taking place. So some good news there that there's a break right now, but there's more activity sitting to the east. And we want to zoom on a little closer. So here's where Surfside is located. And there's this gap, no rain, but to the north of the area, there is some light shower activity moving in. And as far as the radar is concerned in closer detail, we're going to zoom on to other locations too to show you where the rain's happening because this is impacting your morning commute. So just to the east of Surfside, no rain, but this big batch is developing and we see lightning developing as well. Heavy rain to the south of the area, and this activity is about 9 miles away. We move on into Key Biscayne, heavy rain, lightning, and it's already impacting Cutler Bay, parts of Naranja, Princeton, and Homestead. Then you take a look at Broward County and Coral Springs seeing widespread rain along the Sawgrass Expressway heading south into Sunrise, taking you into 595. Wow, it is pouring here. Heavy rain, blinding sheets of rain really approaching I-75 in the next couple of minutes. Hollandale Beach getting soaked as well. Now, the wind flow is off the ocean, anywhere between 3 to 13 miles per hour, and that's what's dragging the moisture ever so slowly in our general direction. What we're hoping for is that all of that rain sitting to the east begins to fall apart. But of course, I'll be back with a whole lot more in your local forecast in a couple of minutes.
All right, Vivian, coming up at 8 on Today in Florida, we're going to continue to follow this developing story out of Surfside, where a high-rise building has partially collapsed on 88th and Collins. We have team coverage all morning, and we'll bring you the latest information as we get it. We're going to head to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
For the latest news, weather, and sports, tap the 7 News app. It's free. Just search WSVN in your app store. Sponsored by Paul Baines Roofing.
Lindstrom's technicians are capable, educated,
handsome,
well-trained, attentive, fast,
funny.
Put 9 both sides.
under the rubble there. The mayor of Surfside spoke a short time ago, and this is the very latest information right now. We know that at least 10 people were treated at the scene. 2 people were transported to the hospital. One of them sadly did not survive. People in 15 different units walked out on their own and are okay this morning. Now, the search of the units not affected by this collapse, that is now done. The search of the units damaged, that's just getting started. Right now, a lot of people are waking up wondering if those who live in this building, the Champlain Tower South condo on 88th and Collins, they're wondering if those people are okay. If you have not heard from them, there is somewhere where you can go.
That address, 9301 Collins Avenue, that's where they set up the Family Reunification Center. And if you are looking for your loved ones, if you have loved ones unaccounted for, or even if they're safe, they want to do a head count of who is safe as well. That number, 305-614-1819, 305-614-1819. Give them a call as well if you're looking for a loved one, or if you did find your loved one. Hopefully you did. They want to make sure they get a head count. And that Family Reunification Center, again, 9301 Collins Avenue, so 93rd and Collins. That's where all the survivors, all these residents are gathering right now. And we're going to be right back.
Sometimes accidents don't happen. When they do, call us.
Lease the 2021 Acura TLX for $369 a month for well-qualified customers. Visit your local Acura dealer today.
For high-impact windows that offer hurricane protection, security, energy efficiency, and a whole lot more,